This water hose presents a significant risk if used for potable water applications. The primary concern stems from the materials used in its construction, which are not certified as lead-free. This means the hose may contain lead, a toxic heavy metal that can leach into the water supply. Lead contamination is a serious health hazard, especially for children and pregnant women, as it can cause developmental problems, neurological damage, and other adverse health effects. The absence of a lead-free designation indicates that the hose does not meet the safety standards required for contact with drinking water. In addition to lead, the hose may contain other harmful chemicals such as phthalates or bisphenol A, commonly referred to as BPA, which are used as plasticizers to make the hose more flexible. These chemicals can also leach into the water, posing further health risks. Phthalates, for example, have been linked to endocrine disruption, which can interfere with hormone function and lead to reproductive and developmental issues. BPA is also an endocrine disruptor and has been associated with various health problems, including cardiovascular disease and cancer. The leaching of these chemicals is exacerbated by factors such as water temperature, pH level, and the duration of contact between the water and the hose. Hot water, for instance, can accelerate the leaching process, increasing the concentration of contaminants in the water. Similarly, acidic water can corrode the hose material, releasing more chemicals into the water. The longer the water remains in the hose, the greater the opportunity for leaching to occur. Therefore, it is crucial to avoid using this type of hose for any application where the water may be ingested or come into contact with food preparation surfaces. Safe alternatives for potable water use include hoses that are specifically certified as lead-free and compliant with relevant safety standards such as NSF 61 or similar certifications. These hoses are made from materials that have been tested and proven to be safe for contact with drinking water, minimizing the risk of contamination. When selecting a hose for potable water applications, it is essential to carefully review the product labeling and specifications to ensure that it meets the necessary safety requirements. Look for certifications from reputable organizations that indicate the hose has been tested for lead and other harmful chemicals and is safe for use with drinking water. In addition to using certified hoses, it is also important to practice good hygiene and maintenance to further reduce the risk of water contamination. Always flush the hose thoroughly before using it, especially after it has been sitting in the sun or has not been used for a while. This helps to remove any stagnant water that may have accumulated in the hose, which could contain higher concentrations of contaminants. Store the hose in a cool, dry place to prevent it from deteriorating and releasing chemicals into the water. Avoid leaving the hose exposed to direct sunlight for extended periods, as this can cause the plastic to break down and leach more chemicals into the water. Regularly inspect the hose for any signs of damage, such as cracks, leaks, or discoloration. If you notice any damage, replace the hose immediately to prevent further contamination. By following these precautions, you can minimize the risk of exposure to harmful chemicals and ensure that your drinking water remains safe and clean. Remember, using the appropriate type of hose for potable water applications is essential for protecting your health and the health of others. If unsure about a specific hose, consult a plumbing professional. They can help with ensuring water source and equipment is safe for drinking. When connecting hoses to a potable water source, always use backflow preventers. Backflow preventers are devices that prevent water from flowing backward into the water supply, which could contaminate the potable water system with non-potable water or other substances. Backflow can occur due to a drop in water pressure in the supply line or other factors, and backflow preventers ensure that the water flows in only one direction, safeguarding the purity of the water supply. There are several types of backflow preventers available, including atmospheric vacuum breakers, double-check valve assemblies, and reduced pressure zone assemblies. The type of backflow preventer required depends on the specific application and the level of hazard involved. Atmospheric vacuum breakers are typically used for low-hazard applications such as garden hoses and irrigation systems. Double-check valve assemblies are used for moderate hazard applications such as commercial dishwashers and fire sprinkler systems. Reduced pressure zone assemblies are used for high hazard applications such as hospitals and industrial plants. When installing a backflow preventer, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully and to ensure that the device is properly sized for the application. Backflow preventers should also be regularly inspected and tested to ensure that they are functioning properly. Many municipalities have regulations requiring the installation and testing of backflow preventers to protect the public water supply. If you are unsure about the requirements in your area, contact your local water department for more information. It is also important to educate yourself about the potential sources of water contamination in your home or business. In addition to using the appropriate type of hose and backflow preventers, there are other steps you can take to protect your water supply. Avoid using pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers near wells or other water sources. Properly dispose of household chemicals and hazardous waste to prevent them from contaminating the water supply. Regularly inspect your plumbing system for leaks or other problems that could lead to contamination. By taking these precautions, you can help to ensure that your water supply remains safe and clean for yourself, your family, and your community. Remember, protecting our water resources is a shared responsibility, and every little bit helps. In addition to considering lead and chemical leaching, also consider the pressure rating of the hose. A standard water hose may not be rated for high pressure applications, and using it in such situations could cause the hose to burst or leak, leading to water damage and potential injury. Always check the pressure rating of the hose before using it and ensure that it is appropriate for the intended application. If using a hose for irrigation purposes, consider using a soaker hose or drip irrigation system instead of a standard water hose. Soaker hoses and drip irrigation systems deliver water directly to the plant roots, reducing water waste and minimizing the risk of waterborne diseases spreading through the air. These systems also help to conserve water by reducing evaporation and runoff. When using a hose to wash your car, consider using a car wash nozzle that restricts water flow and reduces water waste. Car wash nozzles also help to prevent water from splashing onto the street, which can contribute to water pollution. It is also a good idea to wash your car on a permeable surface, such as grass or gravel, rather than on asphalt or concrete. This allows the water to soak into the ground, reducing runoff and preventing pollutants from entering the storm drain system. If you have a well, it is important to have it tested regularly to ensure that the water is safe to drink. Well water can be contaminated by bacteria, viruses, pesticides, herbicides, and other pollutants. Regular testing can help to identify any potential problems and allow you to take corrective action. The frequency of well water testing depends on the location of the well, the surrounding land use, and the potential sources of contamination. The EPA recommends that wells be tested annually for bacteria, nitrates, and other common contaminants. It is also important to test your well water if you notice any changes in the taste, odor, or appearance of the water. If you are concerned about the quality of your well water, contact your local health department or a certified laboratory for testing services. In addition to testing your well water, it is also important to properly maintain your well to prevent contamination. Make sure the well is properly sealed to prevent surface water from entering the well. Inspect the well casing regularly for cracks or other damage and repair any problems immediately. Avoid using pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers near the wellhead. Properly dispose of household chemicals and hazardous waste to prevent them from contaminating the groundwater. By following these precautions, you can help to protect your well water and ensure that it remains safe to drink. Remember, protecting our water resources is a shared responsibility, and every little bit helps. If you are using a hose to fill a swimming pool, be sure to use a backflow preventer to prevent contaminated water from flowing back into the water supply. Swimming pool water can contain bacteria, algae, and other contaminants that could be harmful to your health. Backflow preventers ensure that the water flows in only one direction, safeguarding the purity of the water supply. When filling a swimming pool, it is also important to avoid overfilling the pool. Overfilling the pool can cause water to spill onto the surrounding area, which can lead to water damage and potential injury. Be sure to monitor the water level carefully and turn off the hose when the pool is full. It is also a good idea to cover the swimming pool when it is not in use. Covering the pool helps to prevent evaporation, which can save water and reduce the need to refill the pool. Covering the pool also helps to keep debris and other contaminants out of the water, which can reduce the need for chemicals to keep the water clean. If you are using a hose to water your lawn, consider using a sprinkler timer to regulate the amount of water used. Sprinkler timers can be programmed to water your lawn at specific times and for specific durations, which can help to conserve water and prevent overwatering. Overwatering can lead to water waste, soil erosion, and the spread of waterborne diseases. It is also important to water your lawn early in the morning or late in the evening to minimize evaporation. Watering during the heat of the day can cause a significant amount of water to evaporate before it has a chance to soak into the ground. By watering early in the morning or late in the evening, you can help to ensure that the water reaches the plant roots and is used effectively. If you are using a hose to wash your siding, consider using a pressure washer instead. Pressure washers use less water than hoses and can be more effective at removing dirt and grime. When using a pressure washer, be sure to use the appropriate nozzle and pressure setting for the type of siding you are washing. Using too high of a pressure setting can damage the siding. It is also important to avoid spraying water directly into windows or doors, as this can cause water damage inside the building. If you are using a hose to clean your gutters, be sure to use a gutter cleaning attachment. Gutter cleaning attachments allow you to clean your gutters from the ground, which can be safer than climbing a ladder. Gutter cleaning attachments also help to prevent water from splashing onto the siding, which can cause water damage. It is important to clean your gutters regularly to prevent them from becoming clogged with leaves and debris. Clogged gutters can cause water to back up onto the roof, which can lead to leaks and water damage inside the building. It is important to choose the right type of hose for the job. There are many different types of hoses available, each designed for a specific purpose. Using the wrong type of hose can be dangerous and can damage the hose. Be sure to read the manufacturer's instructions carefully before using any hose. It is also important to store your hoses properly. When you are not using your hoses, store them in a cool, dry place. Avoid storing your hoses in direct sunlight, as this can damage the hose. It is also important to coil your hoses properly to prevent them from kinking. Kinked hoses can restrict water flow and can damage the hose. There are many different ways to coil a hose. One common method is to coil the hose in a figure-8 pattern. This method helps to prevent the hose from kinking. Another method is to coil the hose in a spiral pattern. This method is also effective at preventing the hose from kinking. The materials used in the construction of a water hose can vary, and it is essential to be aware of the potential impact these materials can have on the water quality and safety. The hose in question that is not LFNMC indicates that the materials used may not be suitable for potable water applications. Common materials used in water hoses include polyvinyl chloride, commonly referred to as PVC, rubber, and polyurethane. Each of these materials has its own set of advantages and disadvantages in terms of durability, flexibility, and chemical resistance. However, not all of these materials are safe for contact with drinking water. PVC is a widely used plastic material that is known for its durability and resistance to chemicals. However, PVC can contain phthalates, which are added to make the plastic more flexible. As mentioned earlier, phthalates can leach into the water and pose health risks. Rubber hoses can be made from natural or synthetic rubber. Natural rubber is more flexible and resistant to abrasion, but it is also more susceptible to degradation from sunlight and ozone. Synthetic rubber, such as ethylene propylene diene monomer, or EPDM, is more resistant to sunlight and ozone, but it is less flexible than natural rubber. Both natural and synthetic rubber can contain chemicals that can leach into the water. Polyurethane is a type of plastic that is known for its high strength and resistance to abrasion. Polyurethane hoses are often used in high-pressure applications. However, polyurethane can also contain chemicals that can leach into the water. In addition to the materials used in the hose itself, the fittings and connectors used to attach the hose to a water source can also be a source of contamination. Brass fittings, for example, can contain lead, which can leach into the water. It is important to use lead-free fittings and connectors when connecting a hose to a portable water source. The color of a water hose is not necessarily an indication of its safety for portable water use. However, some manufacturers use different colors to distinguish between hoses that are intended for potable water use and those that are not. For example, some manufacturers use white or blue hoses for potable water applications and green or black hoses for non-potable water applications. However, it is important to check the product labeling to be sure that the hose is certified for potable water use, regardless of its color. The length of a water hose can also affect the water quality. Longer hoses can provide more surface area for chemicals to leach into the water. Therefore, it is best to use the shortest hose possible for the application. It is also important to avoid leaving water sitting in the hose for extended periods, as this can increase the concentration of contaminants in the water. If you are not using the hose, drain it and store it in a cool, dry place.